Welcome back. In this video, we are going to create a pizza toppings application, which will allow us to add toppings to our pizza whenever we want to get it delivered. So when we order a pizza, we want to add, or we could add a salami, we could add mushrooms or extra mozzarella. And if we add them all, as you can see, this add all here at the top is activated. And it has 3 states, as you can see, and it has a yes state or a true state, then it has a empty state and a false state. All right, so that's what we're gonna create. And yeah, let's go ahead. First of all, we need to get some more space here. And I'm going to use a stack panel instead of a grid again. As you can see, I like the stack panel. It's just because the grid is a lot more effort to set up if you want to have something, let's say, rather basic. And in here, I want to have a label, just a little text, which is gonna have a font weight of heavy, which is bold. So it's gonna have a weight of bold. Then I wanna call it pizza toppings. And next, I need to have a checkbox. So I'm gonna create a new checkbox, which is gonna have the name of CB, standing for checkbox, all toppings. And this one is gonna have is 3 state true. So what that means is that it's connected to the other checkboxes that we will have, right? So it's 3 state, which means it can have 3 different states. So the one is true, the other one is false, and the last one is it's in between. So it can have a 3rd state. So that's why we have this is 3 state true. Then we can add a checked and an unchecked method. So I'm gonna create a new event handler, and actually I want to do it manually. So I'm gonna create my own event handler in here. So let's go ahead and do that. You already know how to create an event handler, so you can try it yourself. Please go ahead and try to create an event handler. All right. So this one is going to be a private void CB all checked changed. So this will just be the checkbox all checked changed was called. And in here I need an object sender and a rooted event argument. I call it E. And in here is the magic that I want to happen once this element is checked. But for now I don't have that. So I'm just gonna select the CB all checked changed. So that's going to be called once the object is checked. And what is going to happen when it's unchecked is, well, it's actually going to be the same method that I want to call. So I will need to write the method in a specific way so that it works for both ways. All right, so I'm going to use all checked changed here as well. And as a text, it should just say something like add all. And if we go here, we can see, okay, there's this pizza toppings label, and then we have this checkbox. Now that's our bigger checkbox. And now I want to have a stack panel below it, which will have the 3 other checkboxes. So let's create a new stack panel. And in here, I want to have my checkbox with a name, and I'm gonna call it checkbox salami. Then I add the checked property here, and I'm going to create my own event again. So private void CB, and I'm going to call it single checked changed. It's going to be object, I'm going to call it sender, and then finally we have our rooted event args, going to call it E. So nothing new here. Pretty much the same thing, only we changed the name here. Okay, so this one should be called if this top one is called, so this top checkbox is clicked, and the other one should be called each time another checkbox is checked. So we have 3 more checkboxes which are in the stack panel, and if one of those is checked, then I want to call this method. So I'm gonna call this single checked changed when it's checked and also when it's unchecked. So CB single checked changed. So now we have this checkbox, and I want to add a little text in there as well. So let's go ahead and add a text into that checkbox, which will be a text block. So text block, and I'm gonna add something like salami. And why do I do this? Why do I do it in this way? So that I create a text block inside and all of those kind of things. Why didn't I just add the content? Well, that's because I want to add something beautiful in here. I want to add a foreground which is red and which is gonna be bold. So font weight should be bold equals bold. And then I want to say something like spicy. So there we are. As you can see, salami is spicy now. Now this text block is, well, just below our add all. Okay, so if you want to adjust it manually and add some more spice to it, then you have to use this approach where you actually create an object within an object, or a control within a control. So a text block control within the checkbox control. But now I'm gonna create the other checkboxes in a rather simple manner. So the new checkbox is just gonna have the name of checkbox mushrooms, and it's going to be checked. Actually, the rest we can copy. So I'm gonna check this or copy this. And now it also needs to have a text, and I'm gonna call it mushrooms. And now I copy this line here and paste it here, and it's just gonna get a different name, which is gonna be mozzarella, extra mozzarella, or maybe we just call it mozzarella. Mozzarella. All right. And of course the text should be changed to mozzarella as well. And now what I don't like is the fact that all the four of them are just stacked on top of each other without me understanding that this add all is going to add all of those. Because if we just simply create a little margin here, it will already appear very differently. So something like 5 pixels or maybe even 10 pixels. As you can see now, it has a margin. There's a little distance here to this add all. And now it looks like all of those belong to the add all checkbox. And that's pretty cool. That's exactly what I wanted. All right, so now our XAML file is set up. Let's go into the code behind and implement those methods, because we have assigned them or we have declared them, but there's nothing happening in there yet. And we can change that. So if we want to go ahead and add a bool, new val is going to be, well, it's going to be the result of cb all toppings dot is checked is true. So if that is true, if this statement here is true, then the new value is going to be true, otherwise it's going to be false. Now what I want to set up is my salami is checked. I want to set that to the new val. The same goes for the mushrooms and the mozzarella. So is checked, it's going to be new val, and cb mushrooms is checked is new val. So why do we need this is new val or new val thing? Well, new val is simply going to set it to true or set it to false if this all toppings is checked. So if somebody presses this all toppings, so that one here add all, then they should either be all activated or all deactivated. And that's what I create with this, well, this approach here. Now the next one is our single checked changed. And in here, I want to set the is checked to null. Because if we check one of those, it's either active or inactive. So all toppings should be usually deactivated if we check on one, except 2 were activated and we activate the 3rd one. Then add all should also be activated. Okay, so in here we just check if cb salami is checked is true, and if cb mozzarella is checked is true, and finally if cb mushrooms is checked is true. Now, of course, we need to have another surrounding bracket. And now we can do whatever we want in here. And I'm just gonna say CB all toppings is checked should be true. So if all of them are checked, so mushroom, mozzarella, and so forth, if those are checked, then our all toppings should be checked as well. And then if all of them are false, then it should be deactivated. So I'm just gonna copy that here, and I'm gonna replace all of those trues with false, because it goes both ways, right? So either all are activated or all are deactivated. In both cases, I want to set my checkbox all toppings correctly. All right, so now we can run this, and there we are. Add all, we click on it, all of them are activated. Then if I click again, this is the try state that I was talking about. So this is our, where is it? The checkbox is 3 state. Yeah, there it is. Then if I deactivate a spicy mushroom, well, if I deactivate all, as you can see, add all goes to deactivate mode. If I add some, add all goes to a try state or a 3 state, pretty much. All right, so as you can see, very simple. This is how you can use your checkboxes. And by the way, you don't have to do it as I did here, that you give it all the same method. You could have created very unique methods for all of them. You could create a message box which informs the user about something. Yeah, please, don't forget to check this as well, or something like, thanks for checking this checkbox because we really appreciate your feedback, or whatever you can think of. Okay, great. So that's checkboxes, and yeah, in the next video we are gonna go ahead with the next topic. So see you there.